You won't believe the tea we're spilling today. From secret breakups to shocking lies, this is Unreal Tea. Hit subscribe before the drama starts. Welcome, everyone. There are brief moments in actual TV that don't scream. They whisper. One glance, a word said too softly, but it turns the game entirely around. That came barreling in Sister Wives Season 19's explosive tell-all. And it wasn't a hot argument or a sexy scandal that shattered the illusion. It was Kody Brown's trembling voice demanding, "Cut the cameras." The silence that followed wasn't just awkward, it was eerie. For years, Kody etched a meticulously rehearsed portrayal of peace, faith, and enduring love in his polygamous household. But at that moment, with Krishna's daughter Gwen waiting in the wings with knowing grin, all came crashing down. A suggestion of a smirk from Gwen said more volumes than 1,000 confessions ever could. This was just another tell-all. This was the toppling of a dynasty. The camera pulled back, Kody's jaw clenched, and a shiver of embarrassment ran through viewers. It was no longer his show. The man who used to hold sway over all conversation, all plot, was now fighting to hold on to the mic. The fantasy had disappeared. The domination, gone. And the wives he used to dominate, no longer complying. Kody introduced his family from the beginning as a unified tribe, a single house, a single heart, a single faith, a working community built on communality and religious zeal. He told anyone who would listen that plural marriage was not some romantic ideal, it was necessary. Fans took him at his word for a while. But by the time the family had moved to Flagstaff, the cracks had become canyons. Flagstaff would be their new start, a peaceful mountain retreat. Instead, it was the symbol of everything coming apart. The wives were isolated, the kids roamed. And Kody? He pointed fingers at everyone but himself. And now, seated across from host Suki Krishnan, Kody could no longer run from the truth. His body betrayed him. Arms folded, eyes darting, lips curled into a smug, dismissive sneer. When he spoke, it was cold. When he didn't, the silence screamed. "I'm content," he said. That line broke the internet. Content. While 3 of his wives grieved, as his family was still in emotional disarray, the comment streams were on fire. Fans who had previously sympathized with his pain now accused him of being cold, self-absorbed, and dangerously disconnected. The same human man who had been the foundation of this large family was now its most tragic cautionary tale. And Gwen, still silent, still watching, still smiling. For years, Robyn Brown typed as the emotional center of the Sister Wives drama. Weepy, sweet, and seemingly basking in good intentions, she was cast as the peacemaker. The new girl desperate to belong. And initially, fans were suckers for the story. She was navigating complicated family business, inserting herself into long-term relationships that stretched decades. It wasn't easy. She struck as soft-spoken, humble, even likable. But over time, sympathy gave way to skepticism. That came irretrievably undone on the Season 19 tell-all. Robyn's constant crying now seemed to be an act. Her answers seemed an act. Her remarks too rehearsed. And then there was that legendary camping trip story, a light bulb moment. A moment that Krishnan, Janelle, and Meri recalled so clearly. Everybody chipping in the cold, lugging equipment, making food. Nothing but Robyn. In their story, Robyn had been in the trailer, preparing. Robyn had denied it when questioned. She didn't remember, but the fans did. There was old tape in broad daylight of Robyn applying mascara during that same trip. Twitter went crazy. Hashtags trended. Fans weren't merely surprised, they were outraged. It wasn't the lie, it was the sleight of hand. The smooth denial. The attempt to gaslight longtime watchers who had watched every episode, who recalled what Robyn now claimed to have forgotten. This wasn't about camper cosmetics. This was about betrayal. And while Robyn flailed on his behalf, Gwen lay still. That same faint smile on her lips. Not smug, not cruel. Simply the face of someone who had seen too much to be shocked anymore. The moment Kody Brown said, "Cut the cameras, please," wasn't just embarrassing, it was symbolic. It was the sigh of a man watching his kingdom slip away through his hands. For over a decade, Kody was the narrator, the shot caller, the man who controlled the manner in which the story went down. But tonight, the light did not obey. His plea was no imperative. It was an expression of defeat. Fans knew it the moment it came out of his mouth. Something fundamental had shifted. On the podcast and on the forums, the fans erupted. They called out for change. They needed a host who would not coddle, who would ask more probing, harder questions and not be evaded. While Suki had some strong moments as well, too many felt she tiptoed around. And in this new era, the fans were not tuning in for gentle truths. Fans were tuning in for accountability. But maybe the transformation didn't have to start on the part of the host. Maybe it was happening anyway, through them. Christine, Janelle, Meri, Gwen, even Suki, when she had defended herself. They had stopped shrinking. They were taking back the narrative. Kody's grip was loosening, and no one was saving him. It wasn't an individual fabrication. It was the tearful denial that turned the fans against Robyn Brown. Her blanket denial that she had no recollection of the infamous camping trip broke down. On a show where everything is recorded, denial not only appears sloppy, tasteless. The recurring clips did not just exculpate Robyn. It exculpated the fact that she was falsifying the past. The woman who had wept so bitterly for unity and for being misunderstood now symbolized false memory. She did not forget. She acted stupid. And that was the final straw. Internet forums got nasty. Memes ridiculed her weeping. Veteran fans who had stood up for her in the past began examining each line, each gesture. They were not viewing a victim. They were viewing an actress. And Gwen's little smile, once behind the scenes, became a sign of something bigger. The days of sheltered history for Robyn were revealing themselves. Sukanya Krishnan entered the tell-all with a daunting challenge. Confronting a man who was used to controlling every conversation, she could have fallen apart. She held fast, tough enough to rattle Kody. She did not scream, she did not lecture. But her refusal to be stilled by evasive answers, her persistence when Kody evaded, was eloquent. She was not present to stroke his ego. She was present to prize truth from a spin matrix. And audiences noticed, but some asked that she pushed further. They recalled Tamron Hall, bubbly, forthright, courageous. They wanted that essence. The demand for transparency had intensified. And the hushed question remained. Why does Kody always get to spin without being interrupted? In the middle of a room of emotional chaos, Gwen sat still. That subtle smile never wavered. She didn't say a word. She didn't pose. She didn't need to. For in that one smile, fans saw the echo of every hushed frustration, every quiet truth that remained unspoken. Gwen represented the next generation, observing, remembering, not playing along with the spectacle. Her smile was a sign, a statement that everything was being watched, even if not being uttered. And to many, that smile cut deeper than any confession. The tell-all was intended to provide closure. It instead sparked something. Commenting sections went wild. Reddit forums ran wild. Fans weren't disappointed, they were outraged. They'd been watching for decades, verified the wives, tolerated Kody's contradictions. But now that it's been exposed and emotional manipulation is everything, the public wasn't playing along anymore. It was not entertainment, it was insult. Audiences felt gaslit, dismissed, manipulated. And now they were pushing back. With hashtags, petitions, spin-off demands, and direct messages. No more. When the dust settled from the tell-all, one emotion rang out stronger than the rest. Viewers wanted a spin-off. Not another season of Kody dodging blame or Robyn crying on cue. They wanted Christine, Janelle, and Meri, the women who weathered betrayal and came out glowing. The ex-wives were no longer fill-in cameos. They were top bill. Give them their own show, was the rallying cry on YouTube, Reddit, and TikTok. The fans weren't just curious. They were hungry to see what healing meant beyond manipulation. The demand wasn't for drama. It was to bear witness to the bravery it took to leave and begin again. A spin-off would be more than a television program. It would be a reckoning, a space where truth could not be redefined and where Kody's collapse did not darken the ex-wife's growth. Christine, Janelle, Meri. For so long, their stories were framed in Kody's reality. But when they were released, each of the women emerged. Krishnan glowed while engaged to David Woolley. Janelle showed fortitude in the face of tragedy. Meri, always most alone emotionally, at last left with a quiet dignity that resonated with the millions. Tell All did nothing but affirm what fans already knew. These women were not victims, they were fighters. And the more they spoke, the louder their tales rang out. They weren't bitter, they were liberated. And viewers, and especially women who had been silenced in their own lives, at last got glimpses of their own courage. The sister wives' future is not for Kody. The future belongs to the women he allowed to live. Remember when Tamron Hall's stint as host of the Tell-Alls was brief? She posed the difficult questions. She didn't mind ruffling Kody's sore ego. And perhaps that is why she never returned. Tamron's exit did raise some suspicions among viewers. Why would the host that provided viewers with exactly what they wanted vanish? The answer they dreaded was Kody's behind-the-scenes coercion. The fellow who once controlled 4 wives may have been applying the same pressure to producers. Now, fans demand a return to that fearless, no-holds-barred approach. They don't require a narrator for Kody's fairy tales. They require a truth seeker who will not blink an eye when the spin begins. Word is out, no more softballs. It's time to expose the rot that has been hidden. Robyn's downfall wasn't sudden. It was calculated. Every tear, every denial, every evading was a brick in the wall that ultimately collapsed during season 19's tell-all. Her integrity is lost. And with video proof that refuted her, the audience is done giving Grace a second thought. This isn't about hating Robyn. It's about demanding integrity. The fans witnessed her become the shield behind which Kody cowered for years. And now, with the shield starting to crack, audiences are posing the tough question. How much of the chaos was orchestrated by Robyn the entire time? Even Suki appeared to sense the change. Her demeanor darkened. Her patience became thin. And behind Robyn, Gwen's perpetual, wordless glare remained. Unshakable, untroubled, and irretrievably wise. In the end, Kody's legacy is not a faith one or a unity one. It's a legacy of denial. What began as a dream of loving community now arrives in shattered homes, estranged children, and ex-wives who won't be ignored. He sits in silence during the tell-all, arms folded, expression fixed, trying to look calm as everything he has spent years building goes up in flames. His last try at control, shutting off the cameras, wasn't a command. It was a man whispering into the void, hoping to stop a tidal wave with a finger. But the wave is here. The truth is out. And no amount of editing can put it back. Viewers aren't watching for Kody anymore. They're watching for Christine's joy, for Janelle's strength, for Meri's awakening, for Gwen's silent rebellion. The show has evolved and the patriarch has been left behind. This isn't a story of plural marriage anymore. It's a story of independent women reclaiming their lives. And for viewers everywhere, that's the truth they've been anticipating years to see. This family's drama is far from over. So smash. Like if you're TH Team Wives, subscribe for the next explosive update and drop a comment below. Who do you think will win? Stay shady, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next scandal. Behind TLC Sister Wives out.